Hello and welcome to the Sedgwick County ZooCast, where we are inspiring respect and conservation for wildlife and wild places through caring, connecting, and conserving. I'm your host, Emily Bishop, and today on the ZooCast, we'll be sitting down with Zookeeper Kayla Jordan to talk about the hippopotamus. Keep listening to learn how hippos keep their habitat fertile, all about one of the oldest animals at the zoo, and how you can help care for hippos at Sedgwick County Zoo and in the wild. Well, thank you for joining us today on the ZooCast. So just to get started, you could give an introduction, talk about who you are and what you do here at Sedgwick County Zoo.
Definitely. Hi, I am Kayla Jordan. I am a zookeeper here at Sedgwick County Zoo. I have been zookeeping for about 9 years now. My first almost 4 years was in the Coke chimpanzee and orangutan habitat, but in 2018 I was able to transfer over to the Velt department, which includes the hippo, the rhino, the giraffe, and every once in a while I get over to the Asian cat trek.
Yeah, so can you walk us through what an average day looks like for you?
Yeah, just like most zookeepers, the start of the day is basic routine. So that includes any medications or supplements that the critters need. And then obviously lots of cleaning. And we're setting up their food and diet and any enrichment that we're going to provide for them throughout the day. And so we try to knock out all that basic stuff first thing in the morning. And that leaves the rest of the day for various activities like maintaining the area, taking the dump truck to dump that, and going on hay runs, doing lots of positive reinforcement training with our guys. So we're working on giraffe hoof trims right now is a big one. We do monthly weights on everybody, and every once in a while, something like recording a podcast.
So for people who aren't familiar with hippos outside of like the Madagascar movies or Fantasia, can you talk about how hippos in real life differ from hippos in fiction?
Yes, I'd be happy to. My coworkers and I always get a really big kick out of how hippos are portrayed as very graceful or gentle, or they're always ballerinas. I don't know why, but they, in reality, are the most dangerous land animal in Africa, and there are typically around 500 deaths a year attributed to negative hippo interactions. So I have yet to see one in a tutu, but they do seem pretty graceful underwater. So maybe that's where that came from.
We have one hippo here at SCZ, Sweetie Pie. So can you tell us about her?
I could talk about her all day. She got her name from her disposition. She is exceptionally sweet. I actually had a guest one time when I was telling everyone about how they are the most dangerous land animal in Africa, and while I was scratching her lips is one of her favorite things, he called me a hypocrite. So I'm going to steal that joke for the rest of my career. But she is so sweet. She begs for attention, and every keeper she's met through the years is just enamored with her. She's never known an enemy.
How old is she?
She turned 52 this past November, which is amazing. Yeah, we would typically say a life expectancy for a hippo would be about 50 years. So we are super lucky to still have her around, and she will be spoiled rotten every moment that we have her.
Oh, as she should be.
Yes.
So where did Sweetie Pie come from? When did she arrive at SCZ?
She arrived here at the end of 1971, and she came here from Denver Zoo. So she was just shy she was about a year or two old, so she was pretty young. So she's known SCZ for most of her life. So this is definitely her home, and we like to drive that fact home with everybody. So if you came here as a kid, you probably saw Sweetie Pie. She is Wichita's hippo for sure.
Yeah, she's been here like as long as the zoo's been open, pretty much.
Yeah, it's really cool to know that I saw her as a kid coming to the zoo. Now I get to be her caretaker.
That is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does she have any like quirks or like odd little behaviors?
Oh yeah, she like I said, she is all about the affection. So usually first thing in the morning, she's one of the first animals we greet. and she gets her supplements, but you'll usually find her at the back door with her face up on the door, and that's, you can either scratch her and give her pets that way, or you can give her food, and those are the two things she is always seeking out. She is the best beggar.
What's her favorite snack?
There's not much. She's turned her nose on. One of the things I'm sure everybody's seen videos of, but it never gets old to feed a hippo a watermelon or a pumpkin, and she has yet to ever turn those down. So those are really cool, just to see their jaw strength, and her to get a snack in that process is always a good thing. We have had her turn down green beans before, so I like to tell kids you get one vegetable pass. So, yeah.
If not even the hippos will take it.
Yes.
Then,
yeah. I love green beans, so
yeah.
she was it for me. But that is the one time we gave her 6 green beans and we found 6 in the morning. She had eaten everything around them.
She knows what she's about. So our hippo lives at the African veldt habitat, but what is a hippo's habitat like in the wild?
So they are going to live, as you'd probably guess, around rivers and lakes and waterways that are typically going to have more gently sloping banks. A common misconception is that hippos can swim. They cannot truly swim. They are using their buoyancy to kind of bounce off the bottom of the waterways, and they're kind of like porpoising, and so they're using that buoyancy to kind of navigate. So they do not like to be in deep waters. They want to be the muddier the better. That's going to protect them from the sun and keep them cool during the day, but they want to be where the water is kind of shallow, but they're able to still submerge. Pretty much wherever you'd find a Nile crocodile, these guys are going to be too.
Oh, wow. Yeah. They cohabitate?
They have a healthy respect for each other. A bull hippo could take out a Nile crocodile, but Nile couldn't also pack a punch. So they respect each other and generally will try to avoid each other.
What ecological niche are they fulfilling within their habitat?
They have a lot of symbiotic relationships. I'm sure anybody who's watched a nature documentary has seen the birds that like to pick off external parasites off of large mammals in Africa, those oxpeckers and stuff. They get a good snack out of it, and the hippo gets spared the parasite. So it's a good deal for everybody. And another famous pairing are the cichlids that like to eat debris off of hippos. And just other fish like to hang out and eat all the goodies that are on their skin. They are also, one of the cool things about them is that they will hang out in the waterways during the day when it's hot, and they're smart. They want to hang out where it's cooler and the flies can't bother them, but during the nighttime at like dusk is when they will walk out through these worn pathways that they'll wear for a mile or 2 miles to go to a pasture to feed, and they will keep these pathways clear, and that allows for when there's a heavy rainfall that increases waterways for these guys, so they're kind of making their own habitat as they go.
Yeah, that's cool that they trudge the same path.
And they are able to mark it too with their feces, so they claim it. So, and they like to spread out when they're grazing, so everybody spreads out, does their own thing, and then everybody comes back to hang out in the waterways and digest their food.
Yeah, so they live in groups.
Yes, they live in what you could call float or a herd environment.
Does it tend to be I know with some animals, it tends to mostly be female groups, and then the males are kind of solitary or will be in bachelor groups. For hippos, is it like that, or is it more everyone's all together?
Yeah, they can be in pretty large groups. It'll typically be one more dominant bull, and kind of the cows will hang around and their offspring. But yeah, there's usually one big dog male that will kind of run the show, and then it's all about the scent marking with these guys. So they do they'll defecate, and they'll be able to mark their territories that way, which is also another cool thing about them being a part of their environment, is that their feces is great fertilizer, so it's really keeps those waterways very fertile.
So can you talk about hippo conservation and why it's important?
Well, actually, hippos are considered vulnerable, and their population's pretty stable at that. So they are not in dire straits, but one of their biggest issues is habitat encroachment. We're losing a lot of their habitat to agriculture and just human development. So their biggest issues is just having a space, but they're doing really well in protected areas. One of the issue that's kind of coming to light is as we see more conservation focus going into African elephants and protecting against the ivory trade, poachers are kind of turning to Nile hippos as a replacement, because sometimes the legislation to protect against ivory bans will ban specifically elephant ivory, but hippo tusks are also ivory, and they actually have more enamel, so it's a little more durable. So unfortunately, they are sometimes hunted for meat, and then even more unfortunately for their tusks.
So if listeners wanted to get involved with hippo conservation, and what could they do?
One of the best things you could probably do is look towards other flagship species and look towards those protected areas and see what we can do to provide hippos those space. They're really good at defending themselves, so as long as we give them the space they need. So sometimes even supporting like African elephants or, other native animals to that area also provides that habitat for these guys to do what they do best. That's sit and hang out in their waterways and eat. They'll take care of everything else.
Yeah, they're living the good life.
They have it all figured out, yeah. Like, conservation habitat-wise is that they can decimate, like, a farmer's crop in one night, a herd of them. So, like, it kind of explains why...
It's a lot of retaliation killings.
A lot of retaliation killings and stuff like that. So, trying to make it make sense for everybody here that, like, they're not just the cute hippo. So, like, take it or leave it.
I mean, like you said, they are dangerous. And is that my understanding, and correct me if I am wrong because you are the expert, that part of that is like boats? Because
a lot of boats, they can, they're going to win on land and in water. So there's just, if very territorial, there used to be a misconception that they were man hunters, and that's just not the case. They just are protecting themselves. So
yeah, it's that thing, like they're not going out of their way to do it.
Correct.
But it's, you come onto their turf and they're going to defend their area that they've claimed.
They're better than us at running and swimming. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Peak design.
Yes,
truly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know that George Washington not only had the wooden teeth but had hippo dentures too?
Really?
Like hippo teeth? Yeah. And apparently as they were degrading over time, they tasted terrible, and so he soaked them in wine.
I bet.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense, because I think like some dentures have been made from like ivory.
Yeah.
And so
like, this is ivory. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess you only ever tend to think of like elephants with the ivory trade, but hippos also.
Yeah, they are starting to be more affected by it, yeah.
We'll be back in a moment to learn more about hippos. But first, let's hear about how the zoo makes holiday shopping easy. Trying to find the perfect gift for a loved one can be tough. Shopping during the holiday season is stressful. So why not make things easy and get your loved one a gift they'll never forget? When you purchase the Sedgwick County Zoo's holiday gift membership, you not only get 2 additional guest passes, but 15 months of membership for the cost of 12. Enjoy unlimited visits to the zoo, early entry, discounts on special events, and early access to the Sedgwick County ZooCast. Visit scz.org/membership and select the holiday gift membership option to get started. This year, take the stress out of holiday shopping and give the gift of membership. We will return to talking about hippos momentarily, but it's the holiday season. And if you turn on the radio and you're listening to a Christmas radio station, you're likely to hear a song that's kind of relevant to this episode, a 1953 song recorded by Gayla Peavy.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus will do.
So we're going to play a game, and the game is called Radi-Ho-Ho-Ho.
No.
Because that's festive.
Yes.
So the rules of the game are simple. People, they want all kinds of things during the holiday season, including hippopotamuses. Hippopotami?
Obviously, yeah. Actually, both are correct.
Really?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, all right. Good. So I'm going to play part of a song, a Christmas song where someone is wanting something, and you're going to finish the line and say what it is that they're singing about wanting.
Oh, no. I hate Christmas music.
Well, this will truly be a challenge then. And listeners can feel free to play along at home. And we have 5 songs, so you just have to get at least 3 correct to win.
To win? Yes.
Yeah. But first, I'm going to read this legal disclaimer, which is a letter to the producers of the songs we're going to be listening to. So, dear Sony Music Entertainment, Capitol Records, and BMG Heritage, the use of your songs in this instance is protected under fair use due to this podcast being educational in nature. Please do not put a copyright strike on this episode. I hate to say it, but you would be ruining Christmas by sending us a cease and desist. Once again, this podcast is protected by the Copyright Act of 1976. Happy holidays and warm regards, Emily Bishop and the rest of the Sedgwick County ZooCast team. So,
don't disrespect Sweetie Pie that
exactly.
way. Yeah.
You would ruin her episode? Come on. That being said, let's get into the game.
Oh, yes.
So, song number 1
is You.
Is You. You got it.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey's 1994
never
hit.
get that one out of your head. Yeah.
No, you cannot. She stays
Respect.
at the top of the charts. Okay, so you got 1.
Yes.
All right, so on to song number 2.
If I could only whistle, all I want for Christmas is
my 2 front teeth.
You got
Yes.
it. 2. See, you've got all of them correct so far.
I forgot to ask what I win. Do I get to take Sweetie home? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
You gotta take that up with people higher up than me.
No, just kidding. She can stay here. We'll hang out here.
Yeah. So yeah, if you get this next one right, you win, and the rest are just like bonus.
Oh, good.
So,
Santa baby, I want. Really, that's not a lot.
How do I not know this?
no.
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, in this song, Eartha Kitt's singing about wanting a yacht.
Yacht.
I want a yacht.
Dream big, yes.
Dream big.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a yacht? Yeah. Well, you can redeem yourself with this one. Question number 4.
A hula hoop.
A hula hoop. You got, so see, you've already won.
Yes.
Question number 5 is just bonus. It's extra credit.
I don't know what I won though.
You gotta,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
you have some time to think about it.
In there.
All right, question number 5, the final one.
Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Exactly.
From the bottom of my heart.
You
yeah.
got it. So 4 out of 5, you are the winner. You win the game, and you get to be I don't know. You get to take over as the Queen of Christmas for the day.
Amazing. I
That's
accept it.
yeah. Before Kayla and I finish our conversation about hippos, let's learn about how you can help with their conservation and care. If you've enjoyed learning all about hippos in today's episode, consider adopting one and become a Zoo Pal. Starting at just $25, as a Zoo Pal, your donation goes directly towards the care of Sedgwick County Zoo animals. We also have some great perks for Zoo Pals, including recognition in the zoo, a certificate of adoption, a plush animal, and more. Adopt a hippo and become a Zoo Pal today. Just visit scz.org for more information. And now, as an ending note, I just have a few more questions. So, what question are you asked the most by guests about hippos?
It is probably, aside from the basics of what's her name and what does she like to eat, is usually everybody wants to know how long they can hold their breath. And typically you'll see literature say about 5 minutes, but there's even records of like juveniles who are scared and feeling threatened going underwater for 20 minutes.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, so they can hold their breath for a long time, which makes things like anesthesia for these guys nearly impossible.
I bet,
Yeah,
yeah.
Sweetie's not out to sit any set any hippo Olympic records. So they are most of the time not going for that long underwater, but they like to hang out in the shallow ways where their nares can just pop up and they can get a breath. They actually have a involuntary response where when they're asleep, they can just pop up to the water and take a breath and they don't have to wake up or anything.
Yeah, don't even have to think about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is your favorite thing about hippos?
Just all of their adaptations for their semi-aquatic life. They are just so unique and weird. I love that. They, their ears and their nostrils can seal off when they go underwater, so they don't take in too much water. They have a mechanism in the back of their throat that allows them to eat vegetation in the water without essentially drowning, and the calves are able to nurse underwater. They have a protective membrane on their eyes so they can swim underwaters with their eyes open, which is unnerving to watch happen, but they are, it makes sense for their lifestyle.
That's cool. They're like, obviously they're like designed for where they live.
They're so adapted for what they are. The web toes, everything. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're professionals.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is your favorite thing about Sweetie Pie?
I could do an entire podcast episode on the things I love about Sweetie Pie. Everyone instantly falls in love with this animal. She truly is a sweetie pie. She has the sweetest disposition, and she does love to have her nose scratched in the top of her snout. And I just love when you hit the right spot, she'll close her eyes, and it's like watching a puppy when you hit the good scratching spot and they just close their eyes and relax into it. And her ears, the way they flick around, and her toes, just everything about her is so cute.
You're Sweetie Pie's number one fan.
Number one, yeah. It's my honor, yeah.
Well, those are all the questions that I have. Is there anything else I didn't ask you about that you'd maybe like to speak on or comment?
I don't think so. Just if anyone has any discoveries for hippo immortality, we are very interested in that.
Thanks for listening to the Sedgwick County ZooCast. This podcast is recorded on the traditional land of the Kiowa, Osage, Wichita, and Ute people, who have been stewards of the land since time immemorial. This episode was researched, written, and produced by me, Emily Bishop. We'd like to give a special thank you to Kayla Jordan for sitting down and talking with us about the hippopotamus. Thank you to the Sedgwick County Zoo's marketing and communication team, and a special thank you to our zoo members whose support makes this podcast possible. If you're interested in becoming a zoo member, visit scz.org/membership. Be sure to give us a follow so you never miss when we upload new episodes. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, I'm Emily Bishop, and this has been the Sedgwick County ZooCast.